How's your day going?
My day is going pretty well. I just went to the gym, about to eat some breakfast and, you know, get my mind right. How about yourself?
Nice. I just finished up eating about probably 5, 10 minutes ago. And
Cool.
then other than that, just working on a few other assignments today.
That's always the way, just working, working, working
Yeah, until the next day.
until the next day. I mean, you got to have one day off, at least throughout the week.
It's usually like Saturday, Sunday for me.
Okay.
Like I'll be doing stuff, but I'll also have my mind like in a different place. So like I'll be hiking and like planning stuff or whatever it may
Right.
be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I usually have Wednesdays and Thursdays off, so that's just when I get my mind right.
Now, what are you currently working on?
So I'm actually currently working on a couple different things, a couple different mediums too. Um, so the main one right now is I have a show coming up this Sunday on October 9th at the Jungle in Somerville. And so I've been working on my set list for that. Currently has some original songs as well as some covers to, pay tribute to some of my favorite artists.
Mhm.
And then I'm also working on a EP, like a 3-song EP that's
Mhm.
coming out in October, probably like the end of October. And then like a couple other musical projects that I don't know if I want to talk about yet because, they're with some other people. And that wouldn't be fair to them. But yeah, so music. And then I'm also doing freelance videography with one of my best friends and like creative collaborators. His name is Adam Howenbeck. We are currently forming the Chillin' Willies Media Collective, which is him and I, are a couple of our other friends that we met through LaSalle,
Mhm.
and we have some projects going with this group called the BCB Mastermind, which pretty much is a collective of two guys and other sponsorships that host a 2-day conference in specific locations. They've done 4 so far, like the Northwest, South, or no, the Northwest, East, and now we're about to do the South
Mhm.
um, conferences. 2-day conference, and they pretty much just talk to CEOs of the BIPOC community about being a CEO in the cannabis industry, as well as being a CEO in their preferred industries, which can either like relate to cannabis or
Mhm.
it could be non-related to cannabis, which is, great. Any aspect of um, running a business or um, being a leader of something is kind of what they focus on, which I think it's great that they touch all aspects, all niches. Doing that as well as filming some weddings. I'm trying to film some music videos for myself as well. And, trying to use all my powers for good in and like if I know how to do an art piece and use that as part of my music, like I'm gonna do it, use different creative outlets and combine them. So
Nice. So it sounds like you have your hands full in a few different areas, which is always nice.
yeah, I try to keep myself busy. I mean, it's definitely helpful to see other people. I mean, it inspires me to see other people do things
Mhm.
because that itself encourages and forces me to do other stuff.
Kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you could, yeah.
Now, what advice would you give to other artists that are trying to do exactly what you're doing?
I would say make something every single day. That's like a key component that me and Um, my buddy from New York have been remotely like trying to remind each other is just like you got to create something every day, you know. It doesn't matter what it is, you just got to like, as long as the juices flow,
Hmm.
the the you know, like the domino effect will happen, like you were saying, but
Right.
with yourself, because you'll then be encouraged and forced to do these other creative things. And maybe one day that creative thing that you did on that day that you didn't think was that cool could be incorporated in another thing that you do. So it's all about just like pushing it out there, you know, breaking through
Right.
that barrier of like this artist that I like, I really like, Kenny Beats. He has a catchphrase. It's called, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
It's called "Don't overthink shit," and that like really sticks with me. And yeah, like just forces me to do anything I want.
No, it's like keep it simple, stupid. Kiss.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Now, who are your favorite artists, including obviously the one you just mentioned? So who has few other people?
You know, like I have a thing where I go back and forth between listening to really big artists and then really
Mhm.
small artists. So I guess I'll give you like three of both because that's just like what I need to do.
Mhm.
So I always find myself going back to Kendrick Lamar. I always go back to um Kid Cudi
Mhm.
because like amazing. He's an amazing creative, like more than just music. And I would say Remy Wolf. I don't know if you ever heard of her, really, like, but she's pretty big as far as what I see. Three small artists that I keep looking back on. Definitely my buddy in New York, whose name is Colorbound, who's really good. He's got really good dance music and like a type of hip hop vibe and also like pop vibe. I keep going back to my friend Darren LaPierre, who's currently mixing my newest project. He does a lot of atmospheric and ethereal, like 20-minute long songs that just like take you to another dimension. And like it motivates me to like do the same with my music, even though I'm
Mhm.
doing like a more melodic and poppy and shorter like thing, but it's still like transporting you to somewhere else.
Right.
So that really gets me. And then like it's really hard, like because I have other people like this girl and her band Hi-Fi that
Mhm.
really inspire me. This band that's from my town called Exit 18. Like I feel like I'm just shouting people out, but they genuinely just like they inspire me to do like more things and like book myself. Um and just, you know, be the best that I can be, really hone into my craft.
Right.
See, seeing people do that makes me want to do that for myself.
Now you're talking about like honing in on your craft. With that being said, in regards to social media platforms, what social media platform do you feel is most prevalent for artists when they're trying to make it big or be more exposed to people?
So I understand and I know that, you know, the algorithm is what kills people,
Hmm.
as well as the fact that virality, I want to say, is that the word? Virality is so quick nowadays that, you know, one thing is popular and then the next day it's like nobody's talking about it, or like a week later nobody's talking about it. Um, so with that being said, the most popular app right now are the short content ones, the ones that you can just like make a 5 second or 7 second video. So I'm talking like TikTok, Instagram's got reels now. There's probably going to be another app in the next like 2 to 3 years that is doing the same thing, but just like different, you know, like I don't know what that could be, but
Well, you
It'll
also have the
probably
YouTube
happen.
Shorts as well.
What?
YouTube Shorts as well.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube Shorts is actually, you're right. It's slowly gaining a huge popularity and a huge following. So, and people can just take the videos that they post on TikTok and Instagram and just upload it there.
Mhm.
So it's like it's as easy as that. Um, I would definitely say like, yeah, short form content, or if you're doing long form content, make sure that it has a visual aspect and you can cut it down to like a 5 to 7 second like reel or something.
Right.
Yeah,
No, because a lot of attention is on the shorter films now, just because everyone doesn't have enough time as they used to because everyone's creating stuff.
exactly. And it's shorter attention spans too. Like I get it too. I get it. That's why I'm working on so many things.
Now, where did the idea come from for What's My ETA?
What's my ETA? Sleep and slide. So I was just really trying to, I don't want to say like put out a new project, but it definitely, like I was saying, encouraged me and forced me to like do my best and put out something because I hadn't released any music for a good while, is what I thought. Just because like I was kind of in a creative rut, didn't really know how to promote myself or market myself the best or like see. I was also like making a bunch of different music, so I didn't really know what path I wanted to like brand, I guess, for what I was doing. Um, so, but I always knew that my music was the type to like travel to.
Mhm.
So a lot of my music being like going somewhere or like forcing you to go somewhere. I thought it all went together pretty well due to the fact that like it was a short narrative of how I was feeling at the time,
Mhm.
but also like figuring out where I was going. So I guess you could call it a creative journey. And in that journey, I was like trying to find my estimated time of arrival, like I
Mhm.
was trying to find where I was going with it. Um, a few of the songs, like um, One Cold Joke, Rose Colored Boy, Ultraviolet, those are like, those show a lot of imagination and emotion with them.
Mhm.
So I would say like when you're traveling and you're feeling a certain way or you reflect, it's sort of like the same familiarity, like it's just getting those feelings out and figuring out where you're going with them.
Definitely. Now, going off of what you said before in regards to LaSalle University, how did that help you become who you are now?
Well, just meeting other creatives there. I was lucky that I found a school that had so many people that wanted to create and like make something of themselves um, in like weird ways. It
Mhm.
was cool to have that environment around me in that community. Uh, that's what inspired. That's what inspired me to drive myself forward. It was just like the creative aspect. Um, Getting involved was really good for me because it helped me to actually be creative with it and then have like a benefit from it
Mhm.
because it was like stuff that would be shown on YouTube or like the radio, you would actually be broadcasted. And that's something that was really cool to me. The fact that we were like actually a community and internally like a family was
Mhm.
dope. Um, Also, LaSalle inspired me to do a lot of creative things that I never thought I would do, like draw a lot more and paint and Yeah, gave me some of my best friends.
which is helpful once you graduate and stuff to figure out like a foundation.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It was.
Now, going off of that, I looked on LinkedIn and it mentioned that you are the host for a Monday night trivia. What
Mhm.
does that actually mean for you? Like, what are your responsibilities?
So my responsibilities for Monday Night Trivia is um, every Monday night
Hmm.
I host a trivia game. It's like 6:30 to 8. Those details don't matter. Pretty
Hmm.
much, I just write questions, write 4 rounds of questions, and then I hand out the questions to different groups of people. Like it's kind of different every night, the turnout. It gets usually pretty busy though. It's usually a packed house. Um, the questions kind of vary because I don't like to do the same thing every week. And
Hmm.
also sometimes I have a theme, sometimes I don't, but it's a very cool gig. I'm really happy that I get to do it. I'm just trying to think of like how to. I've never actually really talked about it with like that many people, so I'm just trying to figure out how to say it, you know.
Hmm.
But it's a really fun gig. I get to create all the questions myself, all the themes myself. Um,
Now,
I
how did
love.
you
I
connect
love.
with them?
So the way that I connected with them, I actually worked there first as a kitchen worker,
Hmm.
and my longtime friend Kay Devlin was the current MC. One day he got another job offer for another brewery.
Hmm.
Ended up going or another place. Ended up going there, um, and he just trained me, and I eventually took over the gig. It was really fun because there was a moment in time where him and I were hosting it at the same time,
Hmm.
and we just had really good energy that could bounce off of each other. So it was just like a fun, like it felt like a late night show.
Always fun with that kind of energy and environment.
Yeah, yeah. I try to like keep that same vibe, like I'm a late night host, because it is like you get in front of an audience and you're presenting yourself. You are the presenter. Sometimes I do like to perform a couple of my lyrics and rhymes and poetry there just to like mess with people and just to
Hmm.
like steal the spotlight for a little bit, but it's really fun. If anybody in the Newburyport area wants to come check out the Monday night trivia, we do it every Monday night from 6:30 to close.
You heard that.
Yeah.
Now, going off of that, what are your responsibilities as a videographer for Boston Hassle?
So I actually haven't connected with the Boston Hassle in a little bit, but the last project that I did do with them was I filmed a couple of their performances from the Hassle Fest that
Hmm.
recently just happened, which was a anniversary of the Boston Hassle itself. Um, I was an intern previously, like the year before, for the Boston Hassle, wrote a
Hmm.
couple of the articles and made some ties with uh, the one of the editors there. It was during COVID season, so everything was online, but actually going to the Hassle Fest event, I could meet everybody in person, which was really cool. Like I had never done that before, and it was a really nice way of branching out.
Hmm.
Um, Thankfully, the Boston Hassle has started putting on more events. So if anybody wants to go check that out, they definitely should. I might be there carrying a video camera.
Definitely check
Because,
that out.
yeah, because also with the Boston Hassle, they're very like free range. If you want to get involved with them, all you have to do is either like show up somewhere and like say that you want to help out,
Hmm.
or like email them or email one of their editors and they will totally get in contact with you. You know, they're always looking for new ideas, new people, fresh faces. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, going off of that, going back to LaSalle, what was it like performing at Regis College for Footloose?
Dude, that was really cool. That's such a fun memory that I have. Because the gentleman that I was talking about previously, Adam Hallenbeck, was actually we were roommates at the time, and he was actually the antagonist to my protagonist, which was hilarious. Because like we're best friends and we had to like get into each other's faces and like act all tough, but like but like we just like kept laughing, you know, like we were just cracking up even on like the show days. I'm pretty sure we were just like we could not hold back the laughter. It was tough, dude. But um yeah, great rehearsals, you know, a great cast, great co-stars. I love the music, you know, like the music was tight. Best, probably the best music of any musical I've done.
Now, what have you done in the past in regards to theater?
Wow. In high school, I did a lot of theater. I did, so I'll go from freshman to senior year. Freshman year, I did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was one of the brothers. I was in Singing in the Rain. I had like some solo. I was in Shrek the Musical. I played Donkey. Donkey! And then the next year, I was Sebastian the Crab in The Little Mermaid.
Nice.
Yeah, they realized I was good at playing animals.
Hmm.
So they were just like, yeah, we're going to typecast you as the animal. It's like, all
Well,
right.
it sounds like you had quite a bit of theater experience over the years.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I really did love doing it, dude. Like performing is really fun for me. I think it's nice to like feel valued like that, I guess. Like I don't want to say it's an attention thing because I don't want to sound like an attention whore. Cause but like I do, you know, like I appreciate the love and
Hmm.
like I appreciate giving people entertainment. That's it. I appreciate giving people entertainment. And if they appreciate it, then great. If they don't, well then that's fine too, you know. We can't please everybody.
Now, who is your favorite actor?
Dude. Weird. Like it's funny because I really do love Tom Hanks. I think he's like just weird for no reason, but he's just like always the lead in so many movies.
Hmm.
Like it's like how does he do that? Like he just has an attraction to him that is outstanding. Um and he's wild. He's wild too. But yeah, Tom Hanks, I don't know. My favorite director is definitely Jordan Peele, but that's like, you know, not he's not really, well, he is an actor. I would say Jordan Peele. I like Jordan Peele too as an actor.
Now, why do you like him as an actor and director?
Oh, dude, I just think like the flip from being because people only really knew him as an actor, and then he
Mhm.
flipped to being like a director and writer. Or well, he's always been writing, but you know what I mean. And then he started putting out like banger movies, and everybody was like, "Damn, Jordan Peele." But yeah, props to him. Also, props to Keegan Michael Key. You know, they held it down for years. They're hilarious.
No, they're definitely a good group of like people. And then you can't forget like Will Ferrell and then people like that.
Oh yeah, you know, like the all star like funny people like that. You know, like I have a soft spot for like Will Ferrell, David Spade, Adam Sandler. You know, Chris Rock. Love those guys.
They're great. Now, one last thing is, what advice would you give, or anything that you want to speak on the matter for before we end this?
Um, I want to say that mental health is really important, and people should not forget that. And, if anything is going wrong, then talk to somebody about that, because you're not alone.
Mhm.
And I love you. Well, I mean, a lot of people love you, but I do love you, or I love anybody. Just, don't hold back your feelings. Let your feelings flow in any way you can. That's why I do music. That's why I, you know,
Act.
so yeah, that's why I act. That's why I'm just creative, because I let my emotions out like that.
Mhm.
You can too. So, you know, you're loved. Be happy. If not, that's okay too. But remember, you're loved. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, Joe. It's
Thank
great
you.
to be on here.
Thanks for being on here.
Of course.